We continue our trade deadline coverage. If you just joined us, you missed a lot. We'll keep you posted. The Cavs have pretty much an entirely new team, so get your NBA 2K rosters ready. In the meantime, we'll keep you posted on that. We're also getting your reactions. We've been reading them. Some of them are certainly a lot of fun and quite interesting on all sides. And with us with maps and gadgets and everything across the board at the Social Stop is our own Kristen Ledlow. Kristen, I don't even know how you're ciphering through all the tweets based on what we're reading during breaks from fans of the Cleveland Cavaliers across the way.
Again, I'm just proving my own trade value. I bring it all to the table, Casey. I bring it all. We have, though, for obvious reasons, been waiting all morning for Joel Embiid to wake up. And that finally happened. He has responded, "Wow, this is crazy, LOL." I don't know if he's actually laughing out loud or not, but Scottie Pippen says insanity with 3 exclamation points. Have to agree with you there, Scottie. But as far as player reaction goes, I don't think it gets more personal than from one of the players who was actually involved in a trade. Let's hear from Channing Frye, shall we?
Just want to say thank you to all the Cavs fans, Cleveland, everybody. Business is business. Hey, I'm off to the Lakers. It happens. I'm excited. Good, nice, great young team. And word to everybody, don't go 0 for 6 or they're going to trade your ass.
We cut it off. I'm sure what he had to say there was very nice to finish off, guys.
You can't go 0 for 6, huh, Kristen?
Nope, they
when
will
you get 0
trade
for it
you.
means you got to pack your bag.
They will trade you.
Somebody said on Twitter, and we'll keep up with you in the Social Stop, if you've played any minutes for the Cavaliers this season, your name's not LeBron. You better keep your phone handy.
Love, right?
Yeah,
you'll like this,
yes.
Casey. The Cavs just got you, Darvish. So I just wanted to pass that along to you. Stunning move.
At least they're not still playing Bobby Bonilla. Thank you for referencing that. You know, we talk about some of the teams that are in it, and clearly Cleveland at the forefront. But I want to get into Utah for a second, because if you look at the bottom of the Western Conference, you've got the Boogie injury and you've got the Pels there. You've got the Clippers who, look, they keep Lou, but you lose Blake Griffin. You may move DeAndre. Things are changing there. And Utah's, David, 2.5 out. I know they didn't think they could pay Hood, but for the rest of this year and trying to get that playoff spot, are they a better team now with Crowder and Rose?
I think they are, actually. And I think if you weren't going to pay Hood, this is a really good fit. Jay is a guy who needs a little more structure in his offense. He wasn't really very comfortable in the situation where it's sort of a LeBron ISO and you space the court. That's not what he wants to do. So I think Quinn Snyder's going to get a lot out of Jay. Contract to value, if he gets back to being anything like he was in Boston, it's a really, really nice piece, and Eric can touch on this as well.
Yeah, I think this is perfect for Jay Crowder. I had actually suggested Utah a couple of weeks ago if they were going to make a move. Because if you look at Jay Crowder's career, where has he played well? He's played well with coaches who really have good structure and good ball movement. He played great for Rick Carlisle in Dallas, played great for Brad in Boston. So I think Quinn Snyder is a coach who's a lot like that in terms of system and utilizing guys, everybody touching the ball, moving without the ball, defense, playing off of Rudy Gobert. So I think all of those things, I think Jay Crowder could blossom or reemerge in Utah as a very, very good basketball player. The Jay Crowder we saw in Cleveland was not the Jay Crowder that we saw in Boston. And he had a lot of things going on. His mother passed away at the start of the year. I'm sure that was weighed very much on him throughout the year. I like Jay Crowder a lot. I think this is a great opportunity for him to be reborn.
You know, I want to get financially what this means for Utah, but I do want to ask 3D real quick, just from a floor standpoint. Derrick Rose. We've questioned what does he have left. There was a whole thing where he's away from the team. I don't know how he's going to react necessarily to this deal. You've got Donovan Mitchell. You've got Ricky Rubio, who's, look, on the best shooting tear probably of his life the last week and a half. Does Derrick Rose fit with this team in some way?
In some way, I think he does, guys, and here's why. Because Derrick Rose, after seeing him, and obviously with all the players on his game, we had Cleveland a lot, talking to him.
Had to mention players only, didn't you?
Of course. So the Derrick Rose I know now believes he still has something left. Those few injuries early in the season with the ankle set him back a little bit, but Derrick Rose still loves basketball and still wants to prove he still can be somewhat. Will he be that MVP player? Probably not that MVP ever again, but can he be a solid backup player? I think he still can. Getting out in the system like that, Griff, I think, and to your point, the way Rubio's playing, I think it's less pressure to come in and feel he has to be an all-star type player. Just come in and play good basketball, share the ball, and be the best you can be.
I think that's true if he's staying there. I think there's a decent chance he's going to be bought out, pick his spot.
Okay.
But again, I think from a fit perspective, what you're talking about makes sense. I do think that there's a very good likelihood Derek's going to get bought out. I keep being struck by that photo back there. But I do think, again, Utah did really, really well in this. Once you reach the point where you recognize you're not willing to pay Rodney Hood what it's going to take, you've got to do something to augment that group. And the loss of Thabo Sefolosha really hurt them in terms of their defensive versatility, and they get that back now. It's a great pickup by Dennis.
Yeah, and Utah's got so many guards. I mean, they still believe in Exum. You know, they still, you know, they've got 3-4 guards. I don't
Still
see
got
Derek.
Burks. Other Burks.
And they've got whole Neto, and I just don't see Derek being a long-term fit there.
Well, let's see financially what they have room for and not. Only one man for that. Eric, tell us about in Utah what's going on with the money now after this deal.
Well, they may still have cap room this summer in the tune of $19-20 million, but really the question becomes, what is Derek Favors to this organization long term? So they have, I still think this is a team that has a shot to make the playoffs. But whether they do or don't, we look to the next season. We look to summer. What do you do with Dante Exum? He's this guy who has so much potential, but just hasn't stayed healthy. And then you have Donovan Mitchell come in. And I mean, that was my Rookie of the Year pick after I saw him in Summer League. So I swear he is really, really good. And they've been excited about him. So he makes some of their guards expendable. And so you have to figure out what they're going to do with the rest of their money, but they have flexibility, and as Griff said, they weren't going to pay Rodney Hood, so they got Jay Crowder. What's nice about Crowder, he may be the best value contract in the league. I mean, he's like $7-ish million, $8 million for the next couple of years. He's a guy who fits. Wherever you put him, he's going to fit. He's not someone who needs the ball. He'll play defense. You need him to shoot, he'll shoot. You need him to take on the tough wing assignment, he'll do that. And Quinn Snyder's such a good coach. They'll be fine. But I think the biggest question of all, moving forward, though, is Derek Favors. Do they believe in that front court? Can Gobert and Favors, because Favors is really a center in modern-day NBA. Do they still want to go big, or do they want to sort of go and join the stretch revolution where every big has to shoot?
From a structure standpoint, Eric, where do they fit with Rubio, Gobert as a core group, Crowder? How many of those guys are long-term at least? And when we say long-term, we mean only until we get to free agency in the summer.
Right.
Where do they fit in terms of the core group of guys in Utah?
Well, Rubio has one more year left on his deal, and the big investments that they have are in Gobert and Joe Ingles. Now, Ingles is a really nice fit player as well. I mean, I think that's what Utah really prides themselves on, is getting guys who fit, who are selfless. They're somewhat similar to the San Antonio model of how you build a team. All right, Dennis Lindsey, of course, comes from the San Antonio factory where they just churn out executives left and right. The big investment moving forward is in Gobert, and the question becomes Rubio and Favors, and obviously Donovan Mitchell on a rookie deal. I mean, that's so valuable. I think that's why teams are so reluctant to give up first-round picks. We saw the Cavs give one up to make everything that they're doing happen, which makes sense, right? You've got this window right now with LeBron James you may never have again. But how many teams are going to give up a crack at a Donovan Mitchell or a Kyle Kuzma? I mean, to lock them in long-term, rookie contract, it's so valuable.
The one team we haven't talked about all day that's really not involved in these deals, but if you look at the players who are moving around, what kind of playing field is Danny Ainge, tooling around on compared to the rest of the league when they make the Kyrie deal, and now the Kyrie deal on the other side has been blown completely up? They look like magic right now with what they've done.
Do you know when the Celtics won this whole battle? Because it's 30 teams against each other. They won it in the summer of 2016 when every team other than the Celtics went out and overspent. They signed deals with Amir Johnson and Jonas Jerebko that were very friendly, that weren't guaranteed in the second year, and they kept their options open. And they built slowly. I was here last year, and we were going in, at least I wasn't, on the Celtics for not getting Jimmy Butler, for not getting Paul George. And I said, look, they've got Gordon Hayward in their pocket, right? Brad Stevens connection. Why give up your pick? Why give up everything when you can go and sign him in the summer? It's certainly a shame that he went down on opening night, and I hope he gets back on the court healthy as quickly as possible. That you can't control. But they've done a great job, and they're still holding a ton of picks. They've got great young players. They've got Marcus Smart they have to make a decision on. He could be someone that maybe they trade today. I don't think they're going to trade him today. I think they'll look and make that decision over the summer, but they're not in the tax. You know, Smart could put him in the tax down the road, but I look at the Celtics as a team that really, they operate at a high level in their front office when it comes to salary cap management, and we're seeing the results of that now. While these other teams are throwing away picks, trying to get out of players, right? They're the ones who are the beneficiary.
Boston Celtics not involved in trade deadline day, Casey, but still got their fingerprints all over this stuff.
Yeah, without a doubt. And look, I was counting 17 players if you include the small deals. And don't forget, we thought we were going to lead with Jameer Nelson on the move, and we'll get into all of that. Nothing against Jameer and his family. 17 moved, none named DeAndre Jordan yet. We'll continue to follow that. In the meantime, I would have a feeling if you do the greater than sign, Cavs fans would like all of this rather than just the one player they thought they might get. The last time, I feel like every time we go to you, Ash, as we bring in Steve Ashburner, who's in Cleveland from NBA.com, when we leave, there's going to be 4 new Cavaliers. So the last time we talked to you, it was about that big first deal. What's your reaction to the next set of moves?
You know that feeling we have when you realize you're on a flight, that middle seat is not going to be filled?
Yeah.
That's the Cavs' flight to Atlanta today. There'll be a lot of elbow room. I mean, they're sending out 6 players. They're taking back 4 who may not, probably won't be there for their game against the Hawks tomorrow night. But obviously, the long term, it's worth it to them. Yeah, a lot of change here. It's going to be fascinating to see. And for those people that were disappointed with the decision not to show the All-Star draft, we're going to find out who gets added to LeBron's team last today. So it's it's fascinating to see what they're doing here in Cleveland. Obviously, they knew they had to make changes. This is sort of a roll of the dice that they can introduce everybody and incorporate everyone with, depending on how much time guys allow with their All-Star breaks in terms of coming back early. That's really the only significant break in the Cavaliers' schedule. I checked. Some teams have, some slack 3-4 day breaks. They pretty much play every other day once the break is over.
Well, look, we'll check in with you soon after the next 2 Cavalier trades. So hang in there, Ash. We'll see if there's more room on the flights. I have a feeling they'll be passing out name tags by the time they land the flight. We'll get a chance to go east and talk about what's going on with the Boston Celtics. Where are they going to go next? And how about the Raptors and where they fit in, the rest of the Eastern Conference and their reactions and activity after what Cleveland has done? It's coming up on the trade deadline special. We'll move.